We're going to take you right to the president now. He's at FEMA headquarters here in Washington, D.C. He's giving us an update on hurricane response.
But of North Carolina as well as Georgia. And look, it means we're making available federal assistance for Florida survivors whose homes are damaged or destroyed by the declaration that I agreed to. And we're helping both Florida and South Carolina with the delivery of meals, waters, and debris removal that's going to help both states begin their road to recovery and do it immediately. But before we do anything, I'm here to thank all of you, and I really mean this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are making an incredible contribution. I mean, I hope the American people have a sense of, and it's hard to understand it because, you know, we usually we're not this engaged this often. But this last couple of years with climate change and really kicking in, you guys are going 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. And it seems to just keep piling up. And I mean it sincerely. I admire what you do. I've been in almost every one of the areas you're talking about that you've had to deal with. And your brothers and sister organizations from the Coast Guard, the military, I mean, across the board. It's amazing the sacrifices, and I might add risks your folks are taking out in the field. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. It's important the American people understand it because we're in a situation where, you know, how can I say it? There's still some deniers out there in terms of whether or not climate change has anything to do with any of this. And we're going to need a whole hell of a lot more money to deal with emergency appropriations, to deal with all you're taking care of. And on behalf of the country, I want to deliver the heartfelt thanks to the emergency personnel in our communities all across the federal government, including right here, all of you in front of me, FEMA's National Response Coordination Center, and those out on Maui. You know, it's amazing. You've seen it. Some of you have been there. It's just pure devastation. That whole part of the island is just leveled. There's nothing left. And before this week's storm, we pre-deployed 1,500 federal personnel and Coast Guard throughout the Southeast. Federal search and rescue teams have been helping people whose homes have been surrounded and inundated by water. And FEMA and the Small Business Administration are on the ground to help residents whose homes and businesses have been destroyed or damaged. And I want to, again, thank you all. It really, really, really matters. And one more thing. Every American expects FEMA will show up. And when they're in the middle of a disaster, and I'm calling on Congress to make sure you're able and have the funds to be able to continue to show up and meet the needs of the American people to deal with immediate crises that we're facing right now, as well as the long-term commitments that we have to make to finish the job in Maui and elsewhere. Showing up for the moment to save the lives is critically important, but that's just the beginning. Just the beginning. And some of this is going to take months and years to make sure we restore the people to the circumstances they were before this disaster hit. And as I said, you know, and to the people of Florida and throughout the Southeast, I'm here to make clear that our nation has your back, and we are not going to, we're not going to walk away. We're not going to give up. We're not going to slow down. And again, you know, we're in a situation where, how can I say it? Some of my colleagues, my former colleagues in the Senate and people I work with every day in the United States Senate think that this disaster relief money we're asking to continue to finish the job so far and have enough money to continue to work to save the American people, their lives, their homes, their well-being, is somehow, I don't know, not needed, or I'm not even sure what their thinking is. But we need this money done. We need this disaster relief request met. We need to do it in September. We can't wait. But I'll take a few questions from the press if you have any right now, but then I'm going to go talk to these folks.
Do you have any comment on Overdose Awareness Day?
Yes. Look, I've been dealing with the drug epidemic in America since I was chairman of the Judiciary Committee when I was U.S. Senator. And it has, in many cases, gotten much worse because of the nature of the drugs that are being consumed. And fentanyl is a new and really, really dangerous addiction. More young people, no, not just young people, are being dying as a consequence of ingesting fentanyl, sometimes not even knowing it's in the drug they're taking. And one of the other things I've been asking the Congress for is we need about $15 billion along the border to be able to deal with the technology needed to be able to determine whether or not these precursor drugs are making it into Mexico or into the United States and dealing with that. So there's more to do there as well.
Mr. President, are you concerned about a government shutdown and how that affect the work that's being done here at FEMA?
It would be a serious, serious problem. I'm hoping that there's greater maturity to prevent that from happening than some think.
Sir, have you spoken to Leader McConnell?
Yes, I have. I spoke to Mitch. He's a friend, and I spoke to him today, and you know, he was his old self on the telephone, and having a little understanding of dealing with neurosurgeons and people, and one of the leading women in my staff, her husband's a neurosurgeon as well. It's not at all unusual to have the response that sometimes happens to Mitch when you've had a severe concussion. It's part of the recovery. And so I'm confident he's going to be back to his old self.
President Biden, do you have any concerns about his ability to do his job? Do you have any concerns about his ability?
I don't.
President
You want to talk to me about...
To Congress,
Do you want me? Let's talk about why I'm here.
President Xi, are you expecting President Xi to attend the G20 summit?
The answer is I hope he attends the G20 summit. Thank you. All right.
Will you be going to Florida, sir? Will you going to Florida? And Paul Jacqueline, thank you very much.
I am going to Florida. I'm going to Florida Saturday morning.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Where am I going now?
Right this way. Secretary, right this way.
Please come this way.
All right, the president's stopping by FEMA headquarters here in D.C., just thanking his federal response force there for playing a key role in assisting those impacted by Hurricane Idalia. For more, let's bring in ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang, along with our meteorologist Greg Dutra. Selena, we'll start with you. Look, it always makes folks like those that have been working through the day, through the night, tirelessly to respond to a disaster, of course, in this country. It's nice when the president stops by and just thanks you in person.
Yeah, that's right. This was really President Biden extending his gratitude on behalf of the American people for these FEMA staffers who he says have been working around the clock, 24/7, 365 days a year. He referenced climate change and the impact it's having on more of these extreme weather events and how that is intensifying the work that they do. As you say, it's a big deal for the president to show up and thank the people. He also called on Congress to get the funding that they need to respond to not just these natural disasters, but more that are coming in the near future. He also made an announcement there right before we shifted gears. He said he is going to Florida on Saturday. This is new. We did not know before if he was going to adjust his travel plans ahead of his international travels to India and Vietnam. So that is a strong signal. When pressed about this at the press briefing yesterday, Karine Jean-Pierre said that she wasn't sure if President Biden would be able to go because of all of the efforts it takes to have a presidential visit. They didn't know if there were enough resources, but now we know he will be traveling to Florida.
All right, and of course we'll track it. Greg, just one to you, if you don't mind. How long do you think we'll feel the effects of this hurricane as we move forward?
Long story short, of course, the cleanup, that'll go for weeks and months, but the immediate effects actually last all the way into the weekend. We've got this, and then we've got Franklin that are out at sea, and those are creating pretty strong riptides along the whole eastern seaboard, from Bar Harbor, Maine, all the way up to the down east Maine to the Florida Keys. Beach is already closed in New York for that, but this moves out to sea, loses strength, becomes extratropical by dinner time tonight, and I think the last showers, they should be off the coast probably late afternoon, I would say. But remember, those riptides, they go all the way through the Labor Day weekend, a very busy beach weekend to wrap it up.
All right, Greg, Selena, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.